In 2022, we celebrate 130 years of HBCU football. On December 27th, 1892, Livingstone and Biddle College, now known as Johnson C. Smith University, played in Salisbury, North Carolina, with Biddle winning 5-0. Over time, HBCU football has evolved. HBCU football's popularity continues to rise. Millions attend games each year and millions more watch on television. The HBCU bands provide some of the top entertainment in the country. Over that time, some of the best players to ever play in the National Football League played at HBCUs. Every Monday through Friday on the HBCU Football Daily Podcast, national radio and television host Donal Ware takes a look at what's happening in HBCU football and talks with coaches, players, administrators, and media about the 2022 season. Make sure you join the conversation on social media by using the hashtag HBCU130. Now, here's your host, Donal Ware.
You've got it locked to the HBCU Football Daily Podcast for today, Tuesday, August the 30th. I'm Donal Ware. Of course, the season has already kicked off, the HBCU football season, that is. And we got really a lot of games taking place this weekend, including one of the teams that's on the schedule is Alcorn State. And if you're watching this, you can see this gentleman. If you're listening, we are joined by Alcorn State 7th year head football coach Fred McNair here on the HBCU Football Daily Podcast. It's been a while, Coach McNair. How you doing?
It's been a while. I'm doing great, man. Just trying to maintain, try to get everything situated for this season, man. You know how it goes.
No, I do. Let me ask you this. I mean, you made the move to the Western Division. Alcorn State made the move to the Western Division. You were within a game, possibly of playing in the SWAC championship game, but you ruled the East for many, many years. 2 straight SWAC championships, as a matter of fact. I think it was 6 straight, something like that, Eastern Division championships. You've been picked to finish second in the West. Does your team feel some kind of, I don't want to call it disrespect, but in a way, I mean, you all were really really winning championships and doing a lot for a long time. And now it seems like maybe we or people are not talking about the Braves as much.
No, I mean, we kind of put things in perspective, moving to the western side of the division as a team, it's no different than playing on the East. And we always played the Southern, the Grambling, and the Prairie Views when we was on the East side. So other than Texas Southern, Pine Bluff, got a chance to visit them this past year in 21, but, sometimes it's always nice to be the hunter sometimes, instead of being the hunted. We did some good things here with this program and was able to capitalize on a lot of things that we had opportunity to capitalize on in terms of what we're doing now in preparation for this season on the west side is get ready for game 1 in the conference. Pine Bluff, they'll come here for our first conference game. So we just got to weather the storm. The first 3 ball game we got against Stephen F. Austin here at home, and we go to Tulane and we go to North McNair State. So just weather those storms there and get ready for the conference. And it's been good. What we're doing here, and the kids excited about where we're at now. We know where we need to be once we play that last ball game in 21, and what we had to go out and do as coaches to address some of the positions that we need to address in terms of getting more depth for our football program and where it needs to be. So I thought that we did a great job as coaching staff of addressing those needs in terms of those positions. So we're excited about it. The kids been biting at the bits to get started here, and we've been banging on each other for the last couple of weeks. So got a couple more weeks before our first ball game. So we're anxious to see where we're going to be at when September 30 comes.
I'd like to know, we'll talk about last season, but it was a lot going on last season. Is everything and I'm just asking, I'm not trying to cause any controversy, but I'm just asking, is everything straight in terms of some of the stuff that was happening with, training staff and all of those kind of things? Has all of that been taken care of there at Alcorn State for you?
Yeah, we're past that, and I thought that we did a great job of going out and finding the people to put in those places, and in terms of training and strength conditioning and all that kind of stuff. So we weathered the storm there and got some guys in it that really want to be here and help these programs, not only just football, but the athletic program. So I thought that we did a great job of identifying the guys that we needed to come in and make these programs better in terms of strength conditioning and the medical staff. So just going out, reaching out, and getting those guys to get in here, and glad to have them aboard and working with us and all. So we're excited about it, and they're doing a great job so far. So and keeping our guys healthy and getting them stronger and faster and bigger and making some lose weight. So pretty much satisfied where we're at right now.
6-5 last year. Your thoughts right there for your first year in the Western Division. Had an opportunity maybe to claim it, didn't. But your thoughts on the season in 2021?
Well, the biggest thing is you're not always happy with the record that you end up with. And in the phase of each game that we lost, we was always in the game. We could at least won it. We just look at it from that standpoint. But if you go back and look at it, if that oblong football bounced either way, we're still in the game to win it. And a lot of things have to happen during the course of those games. Injury bugs happens and you get hurt and the ball don't bounce your way sometimes and you have a few letdowns in position and stuff like that. It happens. But in terms of that, we still finished 6-5, still had a winning record, just didn't turn out the way we wanted to be, moving over in the West. So we're looking for bigger and better things this coming season in 22.
What kind of intensity level are you seeing from your guys in terms of spring? You mentioned that the guys hitting each other, can't wait for, that first game of the season. And then your overall thoughts on how summer has gone to this point.
I'll tell you what, during the course of the spring, just building up from the spring up until now, you see a lot of different things in the players when they came out in the spring, the way they participate and where they grew from day one of spring practice to the end of the spring game. And then you go into summer workouts and the way kids came in and just really elevated themselves to motivate each other to be better, to get stronger, to get bigger and faster during the course of July while you're in summer school and up until camp now. You can see the intensity of all the players really just rising, the way they want to play the game and how fast they want to play it. So sometimes you want to slow it down, but you see a lot of good things going on with these players now that you don't want them to slow down. You want to keep the intensity up, and that's where it's been this whole camp. So I'm excited about these young men that are playing this ball game for us. I'm excited about this coaching staff doing a great job of making sure these players get what they need in terms of situations and football knowledge, and just teaching and just gathering information, all the information that they can from these coaches.
The coaching staff, is it pretty much intact from last year?
No, we had a totally defensive overhaul. Coach Cedric Thomas, he came back to be our D coordinator. He was with me in 16 and 17. Terenzo Quinn is our safety coach. He was here before. The new addition that we do have is Coach Jonathan Bradley, defensive line coach. He was with Coach Thomas over at Pine Bluff. Deion Roberson, same position, coaching linebackers for us. He's an Alcornite. Matthew Brown, he's been with me forever. Ended up putting him as a nickel coach and doing an outstanding job. And Coach Thomas, he's the corner coach right now. So those guys have been very good for us in terms of teaching and the knowledge they're giving the players to be successful in 2022. So I'm excited about where we are with the coaching staff and the way the players are really grasping to these coaches and getting as much knowledge they can before game one.
Fred McNair, in his 7th season as the head football coach at Alcorn State, joins us here on the program. Felix Harper is gone. I mean, no more Felix Harper. It was wonderful, for you for all of those years. What is not having a guy like that? And then can you speak to, if the season started today, who your starting quarterback would be?
The biggest thing is, throughout the whole campaign, since I've been here, we always had quarterbacks to step in and first guy get hurt, next guy step up. Even go back to the John Gibbs situation when he was here. Lenore's Footman stepped right in and not miss a beat. You know, when Noah Johnson was here at quarterback, he gets hurt. Felix step in and you don't miss a beat. You know, we still win championships. So we got some guys at the quarterback ham right now that's very competitive. We moved Coach Jason Phillips from receiver coach to quarterback coach now. He's doing a great job with those guys that we got at that position, and it's very competitive. Those guys got different attributes and what they do, what they can do. But it's sent some good things out of all of them. So we're just gonna work and see how this thing play out. And maybe one of them will take charge and say, "Look, I'm the guy that's gonna run this offense." So we're just waiting to reveal that guy that's gonna really take the reins and run this offense for us.
Yeah, that's why I'm sort of laughing a little bit. You didn't name any names for me, Coach.
Yeah,
I'm not necessarily saying a starter as a. Can you say who the guys are battling? If not, it's fine. I'm just asking.
Yeah, I can tell you the name of the guy. Fred McNair is one of them, and
yeah.
I wish I could come back and play another year at quarterback, man. I tell you, missed those days too, but just to see the knowledge of those guys, you got Trey Lawrence, he's one of the guys. Montavious Quinn, he's another guy. Cole Williams, and you got Aaron Allen, the four guys we have on the list. So those guys have been doing very good with Coach Phillip, coaching them up and doing what they're supposed to do schematically with the offense and reading the concepts and all that kind of stuff. So they've been really good. Very competitive room. They really pushes each other in terms of what they do in each and every play. You can see it in them. So I'm excited about that room right now.
Plus, Coach, you've already exhausted your eligibility anyway, but we're going to actually talk about those great playing days that you had at Alcorn State. Great player at Alcorn State, and even in the professional ranks in the AFL. So whoever the quarterback is, Nico Duffy, you're running back, he's back for you. So talk about him. I mean, he's been a really good player for you the last several years. Yeah,
Nico has been a really solid guy, man. He's very, very, very active. He's a very exciting runner too. You know, he not only run outside, he run between the tackles as well. So that's what's impressed me a lot with him. He's not afraid to go between the tackles and run the football. And sometimes some of those his best runs anyway, between the tackles. So he's been phenomenal since he's been here. You know, been a great contribution to this program and the things that he can do so well. Even catching the ball out of the backfield, does a real good job with the ball in space.
You know, it's interesting. You mentioned the quarterbacks is a situation over the years, and you're right. John Gibbs, all these guys. Running back for you is like that as well. Guys just step up. You've had, you know, so many running backs over the years. I mean, any other names you're expecting to step up for you?
Yeah, we got a couple more guys. We got Leatherwood that come from Tuscaloosa Central. He's he's a sophomore this year. He's been very active too. We got Javion Howard, transfer from Syracuse. He's been really solid this camp too. So we got a lot of guys that's going to really play that role for us. And we just waiting on those guys to just really peak and who's going to take charge, who's going to take the reins and separate themselves from the pack, you know. So we got some guys that are really going to push each other in that position.
You know, the thing about it, I mean, offensively, you've been, very good over the years, over your 7 years, and even previous to that. But the defense has been good. Like the defense has been really, really good over a time. What's the philosophy? You mentioned an overhaul on defense. You know, what's sort of the philosophy there this year? And just speak to how some of the players you're expecting to step up defense.
You know, everybody knows KJ Kinsler. He's a safety for us, and he's been very solid since he's been here as a freshman. Cavante Key at the corner, he's going to be a very solid player. Long, lanky corner that really impressed me each and every day we practice. That's been doing very well in terms of what he can do at that corner position. So just being able to get those guys to get together and gel together, you know, with the defensive staff, has been very good to watch and the things they can do. You got Claudine Cherry-Loose at the linebacker position. That's going to be very solid for us too as well. Got some guys that really stepping up. Devin Dawson at the tackle position has really been playing very well for us. We got several guys. The biggest thing, like I said earlier, was being able to get more depth in what we do from what we did last year. And I thought we did a great job of going out and addressing those positions that we needed depth at. And hopefully, those guys will pan out. And I think Coach Bradley is doing an outstanding job with the defensive front and the things they're getting them to do, playing with speed and playing with their hands as well. So that's going to be big for us.
Yeah, and you touched on it, but how big is when you bring a Cedric Thornton back, who was your defensive coordinator all those years, and you were winning and doing well. But again, as good as the offense was and the quarterbacks you had and the running backs you had, defense was special too.
The defense has always been special. When Coach Thornton was here, he had those guys wrapped up and ready to go. And like I said, we just fell short of a depth, last year, what we needed to play throughout the whole year in terms of him as a play call on defense. He did an outstanding job when he was here. Now Coach Thomas done come back in and probably hadn't really missed a beat in terms of where we need to be from day one of training camp up until now. I've seen a lot of good stuff that he's doing. He's implementing a lot of good stuff with his play calling, so he's doing an outstanding job with that defensive side of the ball. So I'm very excited about that side of the ball and ready to watch him in a real live game, to be honest with you.
Yeah, Stephen F. Austin, you start off with them at home. That's good. You've got a interesting schedule. A couple of times this year you go, a couple of games in a row on the road, as you mentioned. You go Tulane, step up to Tulane, and then McNeese State on the 17th before you come back home to Arkansas Pine Bluff. I know you take it one game at a time. I mean, what do you think it's going to be like that, that first game of the season? You guys have been hitting on each other. As a matter of fact, that game is this Saturday. What do you think that's going to be like when it's time to step out at home against Stephen F. Austin?
Well, the biggest thing is, just getting the guys all wrapped up and ready to play football and just kind of making sure that they understand that, the speed is going to be totally different than it been in practice. Understand different concepts of what the opposition is giving us, whether it's offense, defense, or special teams, So just got to be ready and just got to tone them down a little bit because they're going to be ready they're going to be excited about playing their first ball game, especially against a different team than what they see every day at practice. But I think what we do at practice, we make each other better offensively, defensively, in terms of the speed that we get from the defense, the speed that they get from the offense. It kind of helps us out and gear us up for those game situations. Everybody running tempo. So we just got to be prepared for that kind of stuff and make sure that we got our guys ready to play on Saturday, September 3rd.
You were a great football player. A great football. Everybody's great, right? These days, everybody's great. You were a great football player at Alcorn State. What do you remember most about those days playing at Alcorn State when you switched from receiver to quarterback?
I guess the biggest thing that I remember was how the team just gelled together and became just one. Everybody stuck together and performed at a high level. Whether it's on the offense or defense side of the ball, it was never no I. It was always us or we, in terms of how way we played the game. And, the biggest thing was that I can remember, just playing with some guys that been in the league before, offensive tackle Dwayne White, receiver Torrance Small, Cedric Tillman, just playing with those guys, meant so much to me that the way they played the game and the way they come back and being very supportive to what I'm doing now as a coach, So that kind of helps me out a lot that they understand that these guys still care in that terms of when we had that relationship as we were playing together, So that means a lot to us and the way these guys just come back and give back to this program in terms of what they do.
I'll ask you about Alcorn State specifically, but what does it mean to be an HBCU guy?
HBCU at heart, man. And I wouldn't have it no other way. If I had to do it all over again, I'd come back and do it again. Just the experience and the historical Black colleges and universities, man, is something special. I get a lot of feedback from from people that's never even been to a HBCU school. Even some of the coaches on my staff that attend the Power Five, the white institutions that they attend. They get a lot of feedback in how things are here at HBCUs. And we go on the road to other SWAC schools, and they see the environment that surrounds them, how impressive that is. Coming back here for homecoming, playing the Southerns here, playing the Jackson State here, they see the crowds that makes the impact of each and every home game. It's incredible. Get a lot of good feedback from people that have never attended an HBCU football game. So that's big in terms of what we're doing with the HBCUs and all these conferences that we have. It's just phenomenal, man. Just to hear those kind of things that HBCUs are really, really doing is always good to hear.
Yeah, a couple more thoughts. Your brother Steve, how special was he? I know you were at the Titans. Was it a couple of years ago? The Titans did a tribute to him. I think that was a couple of years ago at a Titans game. But how special was he?
He was a special dude when he was in high school, man. I always knew he was going to be special to somebody. I just couldn't never get a read on him his senior year in high school of which way he was going to go in terms of his next career playing football out of high school. And the biggest thing was, he talked about it all the time. But everybody, that recruited him from the Miamis, from the Mississippi States and the Florida States and all those schools that really wanted him to play defensive back. And he was a good defensive back too. 6'2", probably about 205, a good standard guy. But he wanted to play quarterback. And I think that everybody missed out on that part, what he wanted to do coming out of high school. So much he wanted to be like his biggest brother playing that position. And so Alcorn gave him that chance. And he took full advantage of it. And, from Alcorn to the Houston Oilers, to the Tennessee Titans, even the Baltimore Ravens. And wherever he went, he was known as probably one of the prolific quarterbacks in HBCU history, in terms of that, the way he played the game and the way he took advantage of it. He took total advantage of every opportunity he had when he had a chance to step on the field and play. He took full advantage of it. He played the game the way it should be played. That day at Tennessee when they retired his jersey, so phenomenal and just so good that at the same time Eddie George was retiring, they retired his jersey at the same time. So got a chance to speak for him and on his retirement of the jersey in Titan Stadium, and that will last forever. That retirement of that jersey will last forever for the Titans, the Houston Oilers, the Tennessee Oilers, and everybody that had been affiliated with Steve McNair and the way he played the game.
And you know what? You were a good professional football. I was reading you had records and all kind of stuff. And in fact, he played in the CFL, I think, won a Grey Cup, if I'm not mistaken about that too.
Toronto Argonauts and Saskatchewan Roughriders were my two stops in the CFL, and from there I played over in London with the London Monarchs and the World Football League, and great time over there in London, man. It was different, but I think that's why now most of the teams are still playing in London, and now most NFL teams going playing games in London because of the exciting ball over there. Those people love football over there. They love it. They love it over there. So it's good that the NFL is still going overseas and playing those games over there. And my year ended up in the AFL where I played 10 years in the Arena Football League. So good to be able to have those experiences and the knowledge of the game and learn a lot from it. Even now, even being a coach, you always think back the time if you played the game, always, and you learn some of the stuff that kind of go along with your coaching career. So learn from coaches that you've been around. Played against Cornell Maynard when he was in the Orlando Predators, played against him, so I know that guy from a long, long time ago. So it's very good, just to being able to be on a platform with some of those guys that you played against, Now you're coaching against them now. So we have a lot of things that we kind of interact and we talk about in the course of those years.
Whose team won that game between you and Coach Maynard?
Maynard always edged me out, man. I tell you, I never could wrap him up, man. So he always edged me out when he was with the Predators, man. He was a phenomenal football player.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Of course, Fred McNair, in his 7th season as the head football coach at Alcorn State, joins us here on the HBCU Football Daily Podcast. The Braves open the season on Saturday against Stephen F. Austin at home. Game time is 6 p.m. That's Central Time. Coach McNair, always appreciate the time. Don't take it for granted. Thank you very much for doing this. Continued success to you and the Braves. I
appreciate you, sir. Thanks for having me.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the HBCU Football Daily Podcast. You can also listen to the podcast at BOXTOROW.com, iHeartMedia, or wherever you get your podcasts. Don't forget to get your HBCU football fix on BOXTOROW with Donal Ware each weekend on the radio station near you, and on SiriusXM on HBCU, Channel 142, and on ESPNU Radio on SiriusXM, Channel 84. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at BOXTOROW for the latest in HBCU football, and don't forget to tell a friend.